Hi everyone, welcome parents, and thank you for having me in this beautiful session today. I would love to have this beautiful session in discussion with you about parenting. We will have certain discussions about what are the best possible ways in which we can guide our kids, or we can guide ourselves, or we can learn in this parenting journey. And today with you is there me, Surbhi Arora, your host for the day, and it would be my experiences that I will be sharing for this small session and small duration that I have with all of you. And I'm so lucky to be part of this induction program because the first steps of kids in any of the parenting journey is one of the most beautiful part of my life. And that's why before I start with you about my experiences and my learnings, I would like to tell briefly about myself. I'm a parenting career and life coach. That's more of what I do. I'm a program director to a US based company. Other than that, I just love traveling. If you talk about me, it's all about travel, it's all about taking sessions, it's all about reading books, exploring. So that's more or less how you will always find me. Now, if I talk about more about my journey, then my journey as a parenting coach is quite interesting. It is completely driven with my experiences with my own kids. Now, please bear with me with the speed and the flow I am in. I just have a short duration with all of you, and I want to make sure that I'm able to give the best possible content and the most possible content in that small span of time that I have been given up with. So, the first thing I would love to talk about is my parenting journey. Now, don't take me wrong, I just don't want to show everything, but I cannot explain my parenting experiences without telling you about my journey. So when I started with my journey, I was just 23 years of age, just passed out of a college and all of my psychology stuff, and I was fine with taking orientation sessions and these seminars with parents. So what happened that I started taking up these sessions, and then one fine day I thought I started gathering all the knowledge from all the textbooks, from all these seminars, all the webinars I've attended, and I made this big Bible. It must be somewhere in my room right now. So this big Bible of all the knowledge that I've gained, and then I shortlisted into certain points, and I was so confident that these are the best possible ways in which you can raise a kid, and I thought that I have just cracked the code of how to raise a kid. And I was unmarried at that time when I wrote my own Bible of thought process. And then I was blessed with this beautiful child, Jahan. That's my first kid, Jahan. Now, Jahan went by the rule book. So he was everything that was written in that rule book. He followed everything. He slept on time. He ate on time. He does everything on time. And I was so confident that, yeah, see, my rule book is working. And yes, parenting can have techniques, parenting can have methods, and yes, I started considering myself as a very successful parenting coach, a self-acclaimed parenting coach, I must say. So I was quite glad with all the progress I've done. And then if you talk about Jahan, and if I leave Jahan for some time all alone, this is what Jahan does. So he will come out with all those beautiful paintings, and if you see on this painting on the screen, so there's a castle, and according to him there are knights and there are dragons, there's a witch, so there's some flying dragon with fire, so different versions of dragon. I'm sorry, I'm not that aware about, but he has all those versions he brings back home to me. So Jahan will always spend his time constructively giving me all the best possible ideas I can think about, and I feel, oh, my parenting ideas are working. And then one fine day, I was blessed with this beautiful daughter over here. If you see on the screen, so that's my daughter Kiara. So she is just 2.5 years of age, and Jahan is 6 right now, 6.5. So when Kiara was born, I was again trying to experiment all my parenting ideas and techniques with Kiara, and then soon I realized that none of my ideas were actually working. So me preaching everyone everything about parenting, and all the parenting techniques that I have been following were just falling down step by step. कुछ नहीं चल रहा था. Kiara, none of the rules were working, so I tried my level best. She does not sleep on time even till today. She has her own tantrums, she has her own behavior, phonics techniques, different techniques, everything just fell apart. So I somewhere realized that these techniques are not working. And to the most beautiful part, if I told you that what Jahan does when I leave him alone, now this is what Kiara does when I leave her alone. So this is what happens in my house if I leave Kiara for 5 minutes. I'm pretty sure most of you can relate to this image, because this must be the same thing happening in your houses, and me considering that all of you are preschool parents right now. So this is what happens when you leave Kiara for a while, and she will have an answer for everything. So this is a scene in my house, not once but like at least 4 times in a day, which I have to face. But that's perfectly okay. But this whole journey made me realize that parenting cannot be bind up under techniques. It cannot have certain set of rules. The rules will change and mend and have to be adaptive, have to be versatile with every parent, with every household. So right now with you today, what I'm about to do is share certain ideas which I've learned in my journey of parenting, certain ideas I've learned as a parent, and certain ideas I've learned from certain technical knowledge that I have from my profile of counseling, and from me being a school director for many years and then a vice principal to a school for many years. So I'm sharing those ideas with all of you so that you can have a slight better vision of parenting with me. So bear with me, we will spend some 10 to 15 more minutes learning about those ideas today. So let's move ahead and talk about exactly what I call is a parenting job. Now, can any one of you actually share with me what according to you is a parenting job, a parent's job, and what is the duration of that job? Yeah, I believe most of you will say that it's a 24/7 job. Parenting is one job which will consume your 24 hours. And in case of India, it's not a 24/7 job, it's a lifelong job. We have a different culture here. If the kids were born in US, the tradition is that they are 14, they are 15, they have to be independent, they have to learn surviving skills, and they have to have their own instinct, and they have to move out of their house pretty soon. But in case of an Indian community, like if we have kids, they are kids forever. Forever means forever, till the time you have grandkids, and then till the time you become great grandparents also. So this is how we Asians are brought up. We are brought up into community which stays together till the last breath. And that's why in our cases, parenting is a lifelong job. My parents from my maternal house, from my paternal house, from all the houses are still connected. We have big families, and the parenting journey never ends for us. So for us, parenting journey is much more than what we compare to countries or the rules which are followed in the Western countries. And it's a 24/7 job, and we never got ourselves qualified for this 24/7 job. Nobody told us what to do. We just became parents accidentally. We are 3 sisters in background, and I always tell my mom that the first one, like me, I'm the first child, and I was a complete experiment in your hands. The second was still better, and you became a parent only at the third child. There are completely different set of rules which are followed in the case of third child. Even you as parent, first one usually goes as an experiment, but the second one we usually realize that what we actually have to do. So just in this today's session, we will spare some energy to the first child, not put the child into a jeopardy of being an experiment or lab rat, and just helping out the child, and we will try to learn certain tips and tricks. Now, when I talk about parenting job and parenting goals, all of us as a parent usually have 3 important areas where we feel that is our job as a parent. One, physical growth of the child. Second, emotional growth of the child. And third, intellectual growth of the child. Now, these are 3 important areas all of us would agree that as a parent we do not want to compromise on. And it's correct also that these are 3 areas which are of bare essential level you as a parent need to focus upon. Now, other than these 3 areas, what I usually feel that is needed and what is more important for the kids is, for me, 3 essentials of parenting. Now, when we talk about physical growth, emotional growth and intellectual growth, it's a wholesome thing. Few things you gain from society, few things the kid is gaining from school, and few things come from house. But then as a parent, what you need to focus upon, for me, that is the 3 essentials of parenting. Now, this can be explained from this beautiful poster of this movie, like most of the parents of my age group may have seen it, like Roti Kapda Makan. Don't tell it in front of your kids, they would never connect to this one, but I believe most of you have when we were kids, or maybe I'm a bit of an old version one, but we have seen it. So if I talk about this movie, it usually lays down the foundation of most of my sessions that I'm conducting, and that's the session I have today also for all of you. And talking about the first thing, which is food. Now, how important is this food element for all of us? Well, I have seen most of the time, if you go to all the chat groups of mothers, and if you see, the first thing which is discussed is about food. Food is one of the most essential thing being discussed in every meeting or every chat group, mummy's group, mother's group. And what are the usual questions? That what to give, how to give, when to give. So these are three important questions each and every mother is worried about. Now I just want to make it very simple for all of you. The first question, what to give. Now, most of the time it is seen that kids come to school and they're just having a piece of bread and they're coming to school, or they just have some milk and they are rushing for school, and then you will see that the kid is hungry throughout the day. They're not able to survive and they are just picking up on the tiffins after the first break, and they're not satisfied, they're not full. Now, the whole idea is that if we talk about Indian meal is usually created in a way, it's beautifully made, like fish and curry. And then you have fish and rice that we say, and then you have dal and roti, or sabji and roti. So usually Indian food is designed in a way that if you take a complete thali that we have usually in a household, it's actually a wholesome meal. So if you're giving your kids omelette, alone omelette won't suffice. So you should have omelette, you should have bread, and then you should have some certain amount of milk along with it. In the same way, if you're vegetarian, if you're just giving paranthas, it should be the stuffed paranthas with curd. Plain paranthas won't work because they will still feel hungry. They need that vegetable to just go into them. So the food can be very simple and can be very much nutritious. Now, the second thing which always bothers me and most of the mothers is how to feed them. Like, they just want to run away when the food is in front of them. I have tried all sorts of stuff, and for me the best thing which works is let them eat when they are hungry. Please don't push food into them. There's always an urge which is associated with food, with hunger. Let them feel that urge and let them ask for food, because that's the instinct they need to develop. Each parent will have a different set of suggestions. Some of you will say that every child has a different need. Yes, I agree to it. So I told you in the beginning itself, pick up only the points you feel are correct and as per your needs, and you can simply reject all the points that I'm making right now. That's your own choice. You are a parent and you know what's right for your kid. I can just make suggestions in front of you. And the final thing is, if I talk about how part, I just missed on one thing. So the how section, different kids will love to have food in different way, but I would always suggest to make them as independent as possible. Serve them, have a fixed place for them to sit and eat food. So if you have a corner in the dining, there should be a fixed seat for your child, and they should know that every time they are having food, they will have to sit there and they will have to eat food there. They should have a fixed plate, a fixed cutlery to have their food. See, kids love consistency. They love habits, they love possession. So if you tell them that that's your plate, that's your food, and they will understand. So if it's in their plate, they will understand, okay, it's my food. So they love that possession. So try to keep things as consistent for them as possible. So food is very simple. Just don't try to over engineer food specifically for kids. Now, if you talk about the second area, kapda. Now, for me, kapda is not literally the cloth, but it's self-care. At a very early stage, we need to identify that our kids need to understand things about self-care, like using their toothbrush, or having bath, or making sure that they're packing their bags. So this is self-care, or even a simple process of tying their lace. The lesser you help your kids, the better is the probability that they will develop themselves. Just want to explain my point with this example, this beautiful example of a butterfly. And if you talk about a butterfly's life cycle, and those of you know about it, now the butterfly has a beautiful life cycle. So there's a small story. There was a small child who was waiting for this butterfly to come out of pupa, and was waiting from a long time, and he kept on watching that pupa just crack. And one fine day, the pupa cracked and the butterfly was about to come. Now, when the butterfly was about to come, it pinched on the pupa from within, and the cracking started. And then the butterfly moved its first right wing outside. Now, when the butterfly actually moved its wing outside, this child got concerned that butterfly was struggling, and the child was highly concerned. So, could not stop. And what this child did was went inside home, picked up a pair of scissors, and just went through the shell and made it quite easy for the butterfly to move out. Now, this helped out the butterfly for sure, and the butterfly came out quickly. And as soon as the butterfly came out, the butterfly died. Now, what exactly happened was, when the butterfly was trying to come out, the struggle was helping out to help the wings to grow better. And because the child helped out, the wings were not able to get the strength or the blood which was needed. The same thing happened with your kids. You need to allow them to do things by themselves so that they can become more independent and more concerned and more precise on the things they are doing on daily basis. So that's my suggestion of how you actually help out the kid. So going further in this direction, I would love to share the third point, Makan, that is art of living. Try to engage them in household activities, try to teach them various things. I was just sitting in my room the other day, and I realized that nobody ever taught me how to place things in cupboard, or nobody ever taught me how to arrange things or how to keep things. And today at this age, I at times realize that maybe if somebody has taught me how to keep my things at my place or to keep arrange things properly at an early age, I would have saved a lot of time all these years just to managing myself. Like, I have been a messy person most of my life, but because we were a big family and people were always around us, we never got this chance that somebody may sit and do that parenting sessions for us. However, now we as parents have this liberty, have this knowledge, and you are attending my sessions, obviously gaining something out. And my mother never attended any parenting session, I'm pretty sure, but she has been a beautiful mother all my life in the all traditional setup that was possible. But we can surely teach our kids the skill of art of living so that they can become better at things they are doing on regular basis. Now, further to this point, because you are some set of parents who are talking about preschool kids, so I have just few points to add, and then I will just wind up this session for all of you and save others who are waiting in this session for some time. The first one is sleep routine. Please make sure that your kids are sleeping on a fixed time schedule. They have a fixed timing. If it's 8 o'clock at night, it should be 8 o'clock. If it's 10 o'clock at night, it should be 10 o'clock. And then when they are sleeping, just sit and spend some 5 minutes with them, asking them 2 basic questions. I heard this from one of our parenting expert, and I loved her suggestion. So she suggested there should be 2 questions to be asked: that how was your day, and what are your plans for tomorrow? Now, these 2 basic questions, if you start asking your kid, you will realize that they have all that rewind happening in their mind. I did this, I did that, and this happened, that happened, and tomorrow I'm about to do this. So they will come up with all those questions and answers. But never ever bombard your child with this statement that देखो तुमने आज अपना homework खत्म नहीं करा तो सुबह जल्दी उठ के homework खत्म करना है. Trust me, kids will hate waking up in morning. When they are waking up in morning, they should be excited that yes, I have something good to do. But if we are just pushing things on them that no, you have to get up and you have to finish your homework, things will get slightly tough for them. So a sleep routine is very much needed for all the preschool kids. The next point is recognition and identification. See, that's an early stage. They should know this is a spectacles. Mobile, I don't think so. You have to teach them. They know that's a mobile phone, but they should know this is a pouch. This could be a purse. This is a place where you're keeping things. Then other than that, they should have identification of letters. They should have identification of figures. So as parents these days, the struggle is also in your kitty because of all the schools, of all the situation we all are in. So usually this burden was shared by teachers, but I would suggest that if you could just shoulder a bit of a thing while they are on roads, you can just ask them, okay, which color car is this? It's red. Okay, can you just read the number plate for me, or can you please dial the number 785678 for me? So they will feel confident that you are asking them do things, and slowly and steadily they will start developing one basic trait they need to develop at this early stage, and that is of recognition and identification. So that's my second suggestion to all the preschool parents who are there with me. And then the third one, phonics. Yes, phonics. Please help them develop sound. They need a lot of help there, and don't teach them a a a for apple. It's not A for apple. Apple, A does not stand just for apple. It could be an ant, it could be an aeroplane, it could be various things. But you need to teach them sound. So beautiful songs like apple, apple, apple. B, ball, ball, ball. So there could be beautiful sounds and beautiful phonic songs which are available. Please teach them sounds so that they understand alphabets in a better way, and you will see that they will develop their reading skills pretty fast when they grow up. So if you're developing that habit from the very beginning, that will just act as a bonus in the later stages for you. And then finally, I would say motor skills, which your kids need desperately, which they need badly. Please help them in developing skills of holding stuff. Don't worry that कि वो नीचे कुछ गिरा देंगे, कुछ टूट जाएगा. Let things break, let things happen, but let them hold things. They need to develop that grip. Please give them those gripping exercises. Make them do things. Ask them, okay, please keep this utensils in kitchen. Yeah, फिर ये plate kitchen में रखाओ. So when you make them do things, they will try to hold things carefully, and they will put all their energy, and that skill is needed because that gripping is to be developed at this early stage only. So just help them out with that. And then finally, I would leave you at a very beautiful technique. That is my beautiful technique which I called as frogging technique. Now many parents in early stages complain about one thing, that kids don't know how to hold a pencil. So I'm just telling you a cheat method which you can just do with your kids. So just hold your fingers like this, and then just hold it like this. Okay, so here's your pencil, here's the fingers. Ask them to, so just, it should be like a frog's mouth. Bend it and then push it. Very easy. So it would be like a frog's mouth. Bend it and then push it, and then ask them to keep this finger as a support. So this is known as a frogging technique. I will just try to show it from in front. So you bend it, keep it, and then you teach them to keep the next finger as a support. So try to use this frogging technique and just help your kids in developing the beautiful method of holding a pencil. So thank you very much, parents. It was beautiful talking to all of you. It was a wonderful session, and I hope we get a chance to meet once again. And all the best to your kids, and thank you to the school to just letting me interact with you and inviting me for this session. Thank you and all the best, and happy parenting, all of you.